Hari Om. Today we'll start with the 13th mantra of Purusha Sukta, and there are four more mantras in today's session, and we should conclude the Purusha Sukta today. The first 12 verses of Purusha Sukta in the Rig Veda describe the Purusha, the cosmic being, as the source of all existence in the past, present, and in the future. This Purusha, with 1,000 eyes, 1,000 heads, and 1,000 feet, is seen as the ultimate creator and sustainer of the universe, including all its beings and elements. The Purusha is an embodiment of the entire society, where his various organs are symbolically associated with functional groups, that is, the Varna. The Purusha is a powerful and Sarvavyapi entity. He is not just a creator, but he is the very substance from which all things are made. Now, this idea is conveyed by the mantra which describes a yajna, where the Purusha himself is the fire as well as the sacrifice. And from this universe, and all the beings in the universe are born from this yajna. He himself is the entire universe. And when I say this, I am reminded of a very beautiful Marathi song by Praveen Daune. He has expressed it in so beautiful words. He says, Srishticha Devara, Daravadala Gabhara, Sarva Disha Kanchanamaya, Pavana Manda Mangalamaya, Aratit Tejacha, Vishwa Danga He, Tejomaya Nada Brahma He. So this Srishti itself is Devara. This Yajna itself is the Purusha. The sacrifice is the Purusha. And the one who is doing it is also the Purusha. So let us enjoy this song first and then continue with our session today. now we have seen how the creator and the created are actually two faces of the same entity. When we saw how the elements are created in the stars in nuclear fusion, that is also a yajna. We feel it's being destroyed, but new elements are being created. Our bodies are made up of all these elements, and we are in fact stardust, which is nothing but the Purusha himself. Various elements of the universe get consumed in this yajna and are created again and again. Literally, the Purusha is recreating the entire universe again and again. Punah punaha. That was the word used in the Purusha Sukta. In the cycle of creation, we saw the progression from simpler forms reproducing asexually to more complex forms depending on sexual production. The emergence of Purushadajya is symbolic of evolution of animals that reproduce sexually, all the mammals and birds, animals of the higher order, if you would like to call them. The Purusha is the only source of everything, and all things eventually return to him. Today, we will discuss mantra 13 to 16, which describe various other things that came from this yajna of creation, and also we will try to analyze the tatparya of this sukta. So let us see the 13th mantra. Chandrama manaso jatas chaksho suryo ajayata mukhaindrascha agnischa pranat vayurajayata. So we'll see the word meaning first and the direct meaning. Chandrama is the moon. Manaso from the mind. Manas is mind. Manaso is that vibhakti, fifth vibhakti from the mind. Jatas chaksho. Jata and chakshu. Jata is born and chakshu is eyes. Moon was born from the manas and chakshu, Surya was from the sun. Ajayata, past tense, they were born. Mukhadindrascha agnischa. Mukha, Indra, Cha, and Agni. From Mukha is mouth, Indra is Indra, as we all know. There are other implications we will see as we go along. Cha is hand, Agni is fire. So pranat vayu rajayata. Prana vayu ajayata. So from prana came vayu. Prana is the life force. Vayu is the vital air without which we cannot live. So it says the vital air was born from the life force, prana of the Purusha himself. So that is what this particular. So the moon, in short, the literal meaning is the moon was born from the life force, from his mind. The sun was born from his eyes. Indra, the ruler of Indriyas, and Agni were born from his mouth. And Vayu was born from his breath, which is the life force. After the creation of the Veda described in the previous shloka, we see here the creation of various devatas who are related to or are the patrons of various Vedas. So all these devatas we mentioned, they are patrons also of various Vedas. So first we saw Veda, then patrons of those Vedas. They are called Vedabhimani Devata. Chandra and Vayu are associated with Samaveda. Surya is associated with Yajurveda. Indra and Agni are associated with Rigveda. So let's see how this is related. Samaveda Gayana gives pleasure to the Manas and Chandra is associated with it. Yajurveda relates to the eyes because it involves viewing the procedure of the yajna. Yajurveda is all about procedure of yaju. Rigveda is associated with the mouth. It involves chanting of the rishas. So it is such an interesting correlation why the devatas emerged specifically from those organs. The word Chandra is derived from the verb root Chand. Chand means to shine or to make happy. So the etymology of the word Chandra is explained as Chandati iti Chandraha. That which shines is Chandraha. That which makes you happy is Chandraha. And that is related to the mind. That's how Chandrama Manaso Jata. The Chandra, born from the mind of the Purusha, affects our mind and mood. The Surya, born from the Purusha's eyes, enables us to see things. We have eyes also to see, but our eyes are useless unless there is Surya Prakasha. So that is how Surya Chakshu Ajayata. Vayu is born from Purusha's pran, and without it, our pran is in danger. So prana has come from the Vayu has come from the prana of the Purusha. Indra is born from the mouth of the Purusha and controls all our Indriyas. Without him, our Indriyas won't work. So we owe to the Purusha all our faculties and even our very existence. Now, Agni in the Mukha, Vayu in the nose, Aditya, that is Surya in the eyes, they represent the Bhuloka, Bhuvaloka, Swaloka. When we say Om Bhur Bhuva Swaha, they are the three lokas we are, declaring. So these devatas are supposed to stay in this particular locations. Now, a very interesting point that we must all note is that the Agni is in the Mukha. So our Vacha is Agni Swarupa. So we must handle it with care. Now let us see the next mantra. नाभ्या आसदन्तरिक्षं शीर्ष्णोद्यौ समवर्तत पदभ्यां भूमिर्दिशः श्रोत्तात् तथा लोकान् अकल्पयन्. So again we'll see the word meaning first and the direct meaning following that. Nabhi is the navel. Asid antariksham. Asid became, was. So antariksha, Nabhi became the space. Asid antariksha. Shirshno, Shiras, that is head. Dyav, Dyav is heaven. Samavartata, it encompassed, covered that complete thing. Bhumir Dishaha, Bhumi and Disha. So that is earth and directions. Bhumir Disha. Padabhyam, from the feet. Shrotat Tatha, Shrotat and Tatha, that is the Sandhi. Shrotra is ear and Tatha in this manner, that is Shrotat Tatha. Lokan, words, all the words which Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha and other words also, which we'll see, all these words, Akalpayan, in this manner, all the words were regulated or governed or formed. Akalpayan means all these three things. In the past tense, were Akalpayan. Now, his navel, Nabhi, became the space between the heaven and earth. Now, what is the difference between heaven and earth? One is that is called Antariksha. So, we'll see what is the difference as we go along a little. So, his head encompassed the heaven. From his feet came the earth, and from his ears came the directions. So, some symbology is there. So in this manner, all the worlds were regulated by him. Now, in the past two previous mantra, we have seen the evolution of the Ved from the Purusha, and there after the evolution of the related devas, the sun, the moon, the Vayu, everything came from him. And right in the first mantra, we saw he is an entity with 1,000 eyes, 1,000 feet, 1,000 heads. So now in this mantra, we see the evolution of Loka also from the Purusha. The prana, they reside, the prana, actually there are, how many? 5 pranas are there, isn't it? Prana, apana, udana, samana, vyana. And all of them are controlled by the prana. The electrical activities in the body are supposed to be vata, that is prana. Anything that moves is controlled by the prana. The beating of the heart, the way the food moves down, the way stomach is brought to rest during the process of digestion, every little movement that is concerned to our body is prana. So the prana, they reside in the loka within our sharir also. It is so. It is not only the prana of the Purusha, even at the micro level, they and they pervade the three lokas in the three forms. Now we will see the evolution of various lokas from the Purusha. I just mentioned they reside in our loka and they reside in the form of Agni, Vayu, and Aditya. So symbolically, it is the metabolic activity, it is the electrical activity concerning the nervous system, and it is the energy creation by breaking up of the food at all at each cell level. So that is what is implied by Agni, Vayu, and Aditya. The Antariksha, as I was saying, is slightly different from heaven. Antariksha is between Bhuloka and Swargaloka, but it is not Akasha or Dyav. Antariksha is correctly described as Bhutakasha, meaning the space related to Bhu. That means the space related to matter. This is Antariksha because it is described as between Bhu and Dyav, where Ksha represents Bhumi or matter. Ksha is Kshiti, that is Bhumi, and that also broadly means matter. The etymology of Antariksham is Antah Ikshate iti Antariksham. So what does that mean? Antah Ikshate, that which we see through, we can see through it to the end. That is Antariksham. We can see across through space. So that is Antariksham. Antah Ikshate iti Antariksham. And at this point, to elaborate this particular aspect of Bhutakasha, that Antariksha is not really the heavens, it is something close to Bhumi, something close to matter. To understand this, with the help of modern science, let us take a diversion to science and see what the science tells us today. Now, we know that even solid matter is not really solid, though it may appear to be so. I can touch the table, I can touch myself, I can touch a block of iron. It all appears to be solid. Where is the akasha in it? Where is the space in it? But there is. So let us see it with a little bit of analysis. Now, even there is a lot of space within all this matter. Even the simplest atom of hydrogen, what is there? There is a simple proton at the nucleus and there is an electron around it. And what is there in between this? Between the proton and the electron, there is space, isn't it? Now you will say, now this is such a tiny proton, such a tiny electron, and such a tiny space there. So what are you making such a big fuss about? Why are you trying to associate Antariksha with them? So let us take a look at it and see. Now, I've just pictorially, simplistically shown, this is a hydrogen atom. There is a proton at the nucleus and the electron is going around it. Very simplistic description. Okay, so I have shown the radius of this atom. Don't worry about the numbers. It has some specific radius. Okay, so now the hydrogen atom, based on this radius, I can calculate the volume of the sphere. I have calculated. Again, don't worry. What it means is the white hydrogen atom has a certain volume. Now let us see. The proton which is in the center, that also has some radius. The numbers are I have been put here. So based on the numbers, this proton will also have some volume. Okay. So there is a big volume and there is a small object sitting inside it. Now let us see what is the cavity, what is the empty space between them. Okay. Now the empty space between the atom and that proton is 99.999996. That much percent of the space is empty. So mostly every atom is empty. So now in very simple words, if this proton in the nucleus is supposed to be the size of a marble, then the entire atom would be the size of a sports stadium of something like 300 meters, width. So that is the amount of space within each atom. Now we are made up of all these elements. We are actually made up of so many atoms. So every atom in our body is 99.99% Akasha. its space. So are we really solid? So if we that should actually remind us uh, that we are 99%, 99% empty, akasha, antariksha. So we had earlier in our first or second session, we had seen Panchikaran process by which every Mahabhuta has half of its own kind and one-eighth of the other four, isn't it? So Akasha exists in every Mahabhuta, be it Prithvi, Agni, Jala, Vayu. In every Mahabhuta, Akasha exists. Similarly, others also exist. But here now we are only speaking about Akasha. So in a very technical way, 99% is empty space in our body. Now, where there are also gross spaces which you can immediately see. For example, thoracic cavity, the abdominal cavity, they are gross spaces. So there is so much of akasha within us without even us knowing it. So this Purusha Sukta is referring to that akasha, antariksha, which is close to our own body and close to every bit of matter. So that is the antariksha that is between Dyav, which is the interstellar space, and this is the space within the matter itself. The Srushti Yajna. So Purusha Sukta is giving us many subtle scientific concepts in a very simple way. The Srushti Yajna is happening both at a macro scale and a micro scale in our Sharira. It is happening in the Pinda just as it is happening in the Brahmanda. The Bhuloka, Bhuvaloka, and Swaloka, Bhu, Bhuva, Swa, they exist at the cosmic level and they also exist at the Sharira. Now, where do they exist in the Sharira? Bhuloka is from the feet to the Nabhi. Bhuvaloka is from Nabhi to the Kantha. And Swaloka is from Kantha to the top of the Shiras. Hence, Nabhyam asid antariksham would also mean that antariksha, the intermediate space, emerged from his nabhi. So it is actually related to the Purusha and to our own bodies also. And his head encompassed Dyav. Dyav, as we have just discussed, is interstellar space where there is no matter also nearby. Bhumi, meaning visible matter, emerged from his feet. And the directions, dish, they emerge from his shrotra. Now, why should these directions emerge from shrotra? Again, there is a scientific connection. Now, the pair of ears that we have enable us to quickly identify the direction of any sound. Because we have a pair of ears, anywhere the sound comes, we quickly turn our head towards that. We can identify the direction only because of our ears. And so those people who have served, especially in artillery, they know principles of sound ranging, how they can locate the enemy guns by placing a lot of microphones on the ground. So they can pick up the accurate direction also. So Disha comes from hearing. Now, this is also, aviators also. Aviators also know that, if you have got cold, you will feel giddy. Doctors also, you go to a doctor and say, I'm feeling giddy. He will first check your ears and then he will check other things. So the sense of orientation and sense of direction comes from our ears. So how nicely this has been described that Nabhya I'm forgetting that. Okay. All the directions they emerge from the ear of the Purusha. So it is true in the cosmic scale also, and it is also true for us also. So our ears are actually acting like vertical gyros, which are used in missile and aircraft control. So the sense of direction comes from them. Now, when I see all this in all this mantra till now, I see a close similarity between the famous Arati written by Guru Nanak Dev when he visited the Jagannath temple at Puri. Now, in this till now, we have spoken of thousands of feet, thousands of legs, thousands of eyes, thousands of heads. We have seen how the sun and the moon and the Agni and Vayu all came from the Purusha. They are at the beck and call of the Purusha. And this Arati, written by Guru Nanak Dev, says exactly the same thing. So in this Arati, which we are going to now listen, Guru Nanak Dev, he says the entire space, that is the thali, the sun and the moon are the lamps, and all the Pancha Mahabhut, that is the Agni, is the dhoop, Vayu is gently waving a whisk, and that is Sauri, and all the forests, they are like flowers for the puja. So the anahat sound is the bheri that is being, that is being struck at the arti of this cosmic being. So whatever we saw in the Purusha Sukta is exactly in this arti. So as we have come almost to the end, I cannot resist the temptation that we should hear this beautiful arti by Guru Nanak Dev.
गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती
गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती
धूप मलयान लो पवन चवरो करे सगल बन राय फूलंत ज्योति
धूप मलयान लो पवन चवरो करे सगल बन राय फूलंत ज्योति गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती
कैसी आरती होए भव खंडना तेरी आरती
पव खंडना तेरी आरती
अनहता शब्द वजंत तेरी
अनहता शब्द वजंत तेरी
सहस तब नैन नन नैन है तोए को सहस मूरत नन्ना एक तो ही
सहस तब नैन नन नैन है तोए को सहस मूरत नन्ना एक तो ही
गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती
धूप मलयान लो पवन चवरो करे सगल बन राय फूलंत ज्योति
सहस पद विमल नन एक पद गंध बिन सहस तब गंध इव चलत मोही
सहस पद विमल नन एक पद गंध बिन सहस तब गंध इव चलत मोही
सब में जोत जोत है सोए
सब में जोत जोत है सोए
तिसके चानन सब में चानन होए
इसके चानन सब में चानन होए
गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती
धूप मलयान लो पवन चवरो करे सगल बन राय फूलंत ज्योति
गगन में थाल रव चंद दीपक बने तारका मंडल जनक मोती.
So I'm sure you enjoyed it. This was in Brij Bhasha. This Arti is written in Brij Bhasha. Now we have discussed about the creator as well as the process of creation through a yajna. The yajna kunda, in the case of an actual yajna, has a defined shape. For different kinds of yajna, the shapes are different, the sizes are different, how the bricks are to be placed, that is also well defined. How the samidhas are placed, and how the sacrificial animal, if there is a Pashu Bali, how it is to be tied to the post, all that is defined. And as per that, everything is done. So in a yajna of this nature, what is it that defines the shape and boundaries of the Yajna Kunda? It is such a so it is such a cosmic yajna. So what is the shape? What are the boundaries which define the shape of this yajna kunda? Now, let us get back to the 15th mantra of the Purusha Sukta, which asks all these questions and also answers them. Now, this 15th mantra actually appears as the 7th mantra in the Yajurveda version of the Purusha Sukta. So, what is this mantra? Let us read it. सप्तास्यासन परिधय त्रिसप्त समिध कृता देवा यद्यज्ञं तन्वाना अभद्नन् पुरुषं पशुम. So word meaning first. Sapta, 7. Asan, they make, obtain, gain, everything is asan from us. Paridhaya, enclosures, boundaries, fence, paridhaya. 3 is 3. Sapta, 7. 3 sapta, that means 21. 3 times 7, 21. Samidha, firewood. Krutaha, they did. Someone did. Yad yadnyam, yat yadnya. Yat, who, which, what, and yadnya. Those who did the yadnya, those who did this particular sacrifice. Yat yadnya. Tan, continued, extended, spread, tan. Abhadnan Purusham. Abhadnan and Purusha. So Abhadnan is past tense bound. They bound. And whom did they bind? They tied the Purusha. Purusha. Pashum. And they tied him like what? They tied him as if he was the animal. So he was the animal for the for this yajna, sacrifice. He was the Pashu Bali. They tied the Purusha. Now it is sounding very drastic, but it has some meaning. Let us see what it means. So simple word meaning is Saptasyan Paridhaya Striptas Trisaptas Samidha Krita, making 7 enclosures with 21 firewoods. Samidaha, the Devs, that is the Virat, he bound the Pashu, that was Purusha. Now this mantra explores the boundaries and the sacrifices of this yajna that is taking place both at the cosmic as well as the micro levels. Now, what is the boundary? The questions are, what is the boundary of this yajna, Srushti yajna, Parida? What is the fuel, Samidha? Who is the sacrificial animal, Pashu, for this yajna? The answers to these questions are given in this mantra, which we have just seen. Now, let us see what it means. Saptasyan Paridhaya. The 7 form the boundaries of this yajna. Clear translation of Saptasyan Paridhaya. So let us see what is implied by this 7. It would mean different things at different levels and different contexts. The Sapta Loka, at this level, the Sapta Loka themselves, they are the boundaries of this yajna, which is a Srushti yajna. What are those Sapta Loka? Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Tapa, Maha, Jana, Satya. So all these lokas are uttered by Guruji during various ceremonies. So these Sapta Lokas are the boundaries of this yajna. Now, on a smaller scale, they would also mean Sapta Sagara. If we just come to our own Prithvi, which is quite small compared to the universe, it means the Sapta Sagara, they form the boundaries of this yajna. So what are these Sapta Sagara? Sapta Sagara is the Lavana Sagara, Ikshurasa Sagara, Sura Sagara, Ghrita Sagara, Dadhi Sagara, Kshira Sagara, and Jala Sagara, normal ocean as we know it. We will not go into what these imply further. We will leave it for some other level. So at the level of an individual, the Sharira itself is the Yajna Kunda. We are eating the food, digesting it, energy is being made. A Yajna is going on within our Sharira. And our Sharira itself is the Yajna Kunda. So the Paridhi, limitations in this case, are defined by the Sapta Dhatus that form the Sharira. What are those Sapta Dhatus as per Ayurveda? Rasa, Rakta, Mausa, Meda, Asthi, Majja, and Shukra for men and Artava for women. So Very simple. They say plasma, blood, muscle, fat, asthi, bones, bone marrow, and the reproductive elements of male and female. So this is what they are, the Sapta Dhatus. They form the boundaries of this yajna. We cannot, our body, our yajna kunda cannot cross these Sapta Dhatus. It is bound by them. If the yajna is like a jnana yajna, if we consider that this whole yajna, because Veda are coming out as yajna, then what is the paridhi? Then the paridhi is defined by the seven chandas. Which are the seven chandas? Gayatri, Ushnik, Anushtup, Brahati, Pankti, Trishtup, and Jagati. Now, it has simply Gayatri has 24 syllables, Ushnik has 28. So you keep increasing 4 by 4. It comes to 32, 36, and Trishtup has 44, Jagati has 48. Number of syllables in that mantra. So these chandas are related to various body tissues also. So what are they related to? They are related to, in this order only, Gayatri is related to Twak, Twacha, Ushnik, Loma, Anushtup, Snau, Bruhati. Bruhati is related to Prana, which means the nervous system. Because you see, it has got 36 syllables. So there are supposed to be in our central nervous system as per Ayurveda. I don't know about the modern medical science. They say there are 72,000 nadis emanating from our spinal column, 36,000 on one side and 36,000 on another side. That is how Brihati is related to Prana, the nervous system, and similarly many others. The devatas of the seven chanda are also considered as the seven paridhis of this yajna. So, who are the devatas of this chanda? They are related to our body parts, and they are all the devatas also related to other are the paridhi of the chanda. Who are the, like with Gayatri, Agni Patni and Swaha? She is related to this. With Ushnika, it is Surya Patni Sandhya, then Chandra Patni Rohini. I'm not saying with this. It is understood that in the same sequence, Chandra Patni Rohini, Bruhaspati Patni Tara, Mitra and Varuna Patni Revati and Varuni, Indra Patni Shachi, and with the last with Jagati, it is Vishwe Deva who are associated. So they form the paridhi of this yajna. Now, if this yajna relates to finer aspects of culture, then the Sapta Swara, they become the paridhi of this yajna. We cannot express beyond these swaras. Shadja, Rishabha, Gandhar, Madhyama, Panchama, Dhaivat, and Nishad. They are the boundaries if we consider the yajna is happening at a cultural level. It relates to finer aspects of life. Now the fuel, Samidha. We first spoke of Paridhi. Now let us see Samidha. Now they said 3 Sapta Samidha Kruta. 3 Sapta is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. And they made 21 things as Samidha. So what are those 21? Now just as the fuel gets consumed in the yajna, now what happens at the cosmic level? What is getting consumed? The Kala is passing away continuously. Kala is getting consumed in this yajna. So when we say Kala is related to 21, what is it? So it is 12 masa, 5 rutus, and there should be 6 actually, but it is given as 5. So I didn't go into more details of it. 2 ayana, 1 samvatsara, and 1 samvatsara purusha. So actually, it may be actually 6 rutus, and the samvatsara purusha appears to be a repetition, which I was not able to decipher. So it is 21 samidhas of Kala are this. Now, okay. So at the level of our Sharira, what are these Samidhas? So at the level of the Sharira, 21 Samidhas are 5 Jnanendriya, 5 Karmendriya, 5 Prana, Pancha Prana, Pancha Mahabhuta, and 1 Manasa. So another explanation, 21 Samidhas, is also explained as 10 toes, 10 fingers, and 1 head, which represents Urnahuti, when you do Sashtanga Namaskara or Sharanagati. Now, in the story of Vamana Avatara, we are told that Vamana covered Bhuloka, entire Bhuloka in the first step, and the Swarga in the second step. He didn't know where to keep the third step. So he asked Bali, where should I keep the third step? And our story is Bali offered his head. But the question that always comes to the mind is Bali offered his head, but where was Bali? Vaman had already covered the entire earth. So Bali's head was already a part of it. So this Bali offering a head is symbolic. It is simply Atmanivedanam. It is full Sharanagati. That is what is the highest form of Navavidha Bhakti. So this 21 Samidhas means actually Navavidha Bhakti, the Atmanivedanam. So 21 Samidhas in 21 Samhitas in the form of 10 toes, 10 fingers, one head, they symbolize Purnahuti or Atmanivedanam. Now, the next line of this mantra, it says, Deva yad yajnam tanvana abhadnan purusham pashum. Now, it may translate simply as Deva continued with the yajna and tied Purusha as a sacrificial animal, that is Pashu. Doesn't sound very good, but there is a symbology with it. The Purusha is not someone else, but each one of us is the Purusha. And the Deva and Indriyas, Deva, they are Indriyas who are under control of the Indra. And what is Indra? That is Manas. All our Indriyas are control of the Manas. You remember that what Bhagwan said in Bhagavad Gita, Indriyanam Manaschasmi. So that is the most powerful of the Indriyas which controls the other Indriyas. So similarly, Devas, all the Deva, they are Indriyas and they are under control of the Manas. So the act of symbolically offering one's head is giving up our Pashutva. So Pashubali is actually giving up our Pashutva symbolically, offering our head, 10 toes, 10 fingers and head. When we do Sashtanga, that is actually surrendering. That itself is Pashubali. Now Ravana had to offer his head 10 times because he failed to get rid of his Pashutva and he lived with it. So that is the reason this exactly giving your head, bowing, is actually like surrender. Basically, Pashu in Sanskrit comes from the word pash, from the root pash. Pash means to fix or to bind. The word pasha, which is the rope used to bind someone, that is also from this root only pash. So what does it mean? Pashu refers to someone who is bound by many desires. Actually, we tie the Pashu, isn't it? So Pashu means someone who is bound. And in our case, it is someone who is bound by many desires. In Bhagavad Gita, Pasha Shatair Baddha, that is the reference. So Ravana had to give his head again and again, but he could not get rid of his desires. He could not get rid of his ashas. So he remained a Pashu. So Pashu Bali means giving up your desires, giving up your ashas, and surrendering fully. So that is the meaning of this Pashu Bali. So Pashu Bali is the sacrifice of Pashutva by Atma Nivedanam, which is the highest form of bhakti. So those performing this yajna, they tied their Pashutva to the sacrificial post, also known as Dharma Yupa. Now, by the way, Dharma Yupa is also one of the names of Vishnu in the Vishnu Sahasranama, Dharma Yupo Mahamakha. So it means that he represents Yupa is post which is buried in the ground. It doesn't move. Dharma. So he represents the immutable, unshakable principles of Dharma, like a fixed pillar in the ground. We now come to the next mantra, which is 16th mantra. This is the last mantra, and we have all heard this at the end of our arti as a part of the mantra Pushpanjali. Yadnena yadnimajanta devastani dharmani prathamanyasan te hanakam mahimana sachanta yatra purve sadhya santi devaha. So, after our arti, after all puja, this is taken as a part of the mantra Pushpanjali, because this is in summary the tatparya of everything what we have seen till now. So all that I spoke of as Atmanivedanam, Sharanagati, keeping in our mind that we have all come from him, he is the creator, all that comes in the essence of this one mantra. That is how this one last mantra of Purusha Sukta is so frequently used as a part of the mantra Pushpanjali after the Arti. So now let us see again the word meaning. Yadnena, by the yajna, yajna se. Yajna mayajanta, perform the yajna. Devas tani, devaha tani. Tani, those devas. Dharmani, universal laws, prathamanyasan. So those they obtained those universal laws first. Prathamanyasan. Te nakam here refers to Chidakasha. Mahimana, the great ones. Sachanta, meditating on the Purusha. Chinta, so that is Sachanta. Sa, together with Chinta, reflecting upon, by reflecting upon. Yatra, where or wherein. Purve, during earlier times. Sadhyaha, sadhakas, accomplished ones. Santi devaha, they are the shining ones. Dev is to shine, deva, those shine, deva, gods or deities. The accomplished ones were the devas then. So let us see the meaning. The deva, the gods, devatas, they worshipped Ayajanta, the sacrifice, whom the Yajna Purusha. How? By contemplating of the Yajna, that is the Purusha itself. And and thus they got first Prathaman Nyasan, right in the beginning. First they got Tani Dharmani, those laws. What kind of laws? By which the universe is governed. Dharma are the laws which govern the universe. So those great ones, Mahimana, meditating on the Purusha, Sachanta, obtained the beautiful spiritual sky, Chidakasha, and first got those universal laws by which the universe is governed. This is the meaning of this particular mantra. Now, where in earlier times, Yatra Purve, the accomplished ones, Sadhya, they became the gods. The accomplished one became gods. What does it mean, became gods? Those who performed this yajna, they became mukta. That is the meaning of this particular sentence. Now, we have gone through the 16 mantra of Purusha Sukta from the Rigveda version. Now, there are many layers of meaning to our Vedic literature. Like there is Shabdartha, Vachyartha, Lakshyartha, Garbhitartha, Matitartha, and Tatparya. Now, the first two, Shabdartha and Vachyartha, direct word meaning. That is Shabdartha. Now, Garbhitartha is hidden meaning. So, you have to go one step more into it. Then, Lakshyartha is intended meaning. So, you have to understand it after you understand the Garbhitartha. Now, in case of a in case of a passage, the tatparya, that it is purport or connotation, is derived on many factors. Now, I will again come back to our modern age. All of us are nowadays speaking of AI, artificial intelligence, chat GPT. Now, in this age of artificial intelligence, this particular Tatparya Nirnaya has gained a lot of importance, because actually what we are doing is we are teaching the machines how to figure out the meaning and how to structure a response. So we are trying to coach the machines into trying to get from Shabdartha, then Matitartha, and then Tatparya. We are coaching the machines to do this. Now, this process of extraction of Tatparya for the artificial intelligence, which is being done now, was done in the Vedic times also. It is a Vedic tradition. So, the Tatparya of any content is extracted based on indicators. There are 6 indicators. They are called Shat Tatparya Linga. So there are 6 symbols based on which the real meaning is extracted. And that is exactly how the AI also works. And this is expressed beautifully in a shloka, which we'll just see. And if we go through it, upakrama, upasamhara, अभ्यासो अपूर्वता फलम अर्थवादोपपत्ति च लिंगम तात्पर्य निर्णये. So what does this mean? We'll see one by one. So all the 6 symbols of meaning, tatparya, are explained here. So we'll see this, and based on this, we'll see what is the tatparya of the Purusha Sukta. Upakrama, Upasauhara, introduction and conclusion. So this refers to the commencement and conclusion of the text. A consistent theme and subject is often introduced in the Upakrama and the Upasamhara. So if you want to see what is the correct meaning, you should look at these 2 ends of the passage. Abhyasaha. Abhyasa, reiteration. When you are trying to put across a point, the important point is reiterated in various ways. Apurvata. You try to put across the point in novel ways, by novel logic. Apurvata also should be there. Now, phala, by emphasizing on the phala, or the fruit of the understanding of certain doctrine, the text emphasizes the benefits of that particular understanding. So if you say by doing this month, by chanting Purusha Sukta, you will get this phala, this phala, this good will happen, that good will happen. So that is one of the ways of giving the importance of what is written in the Purusha Sukta, phala. Even in our normal writing, we say if you do certain thing, you will get this particular benefit. So the person's attention is drawn to that. Arthavada, glorifying or explanatory statements. This was done by great people. They have also done this. So what they have done is, if it was true then, that it should be true now also. So this is also one of the symbols. Upapatti, illustrations or analogies, examples. So all these are 6 symbols. So if we apply these 6 symbols to the Purusha Sukta, or if somebody uses Chat GPT or AI to get the tatparya of the Purusha Sukta, we will understand that there are 3 main tatparyas that come out of the Purusha Sukta. What are these first 3 main tatparyas? Firstly, Purusha himself is Yajna. He is the enjoyer of all the offerings in this Yajna, and he is the offering himself. And those who fail to understand this concept remain embroiled in the samsara. They will never become mukta. Like those who did the yajna, they became mukta. You won't become mukta if you don't understand this. Now the Bhagwan has told this so nicely in the Bhagavad Gita. Aham hi sarva yajnanam bhokta cha prabhurevacha cha natu mam abhijananti tatve natas chavantite. Now this is the first tatparya. So what is the second tatparya? Everything originates from him, and he is the creator and the created. And where do I find this? Again, Bhagavad Gita. Urdhva moola madhashakham ashwatham prahuravayam chandamsi yasya parnani yastam vedasa vedavid. Literally, if you just see the word meaning, it represents the universe as the inverted Ashwatha Vriksha. But you must see the meaning of the word Urdhva. Urdhva does not mean only on top. Urdhva also means Parabrahma, Paramatma, Purusha. So it means, so Urdhva is the Mula. So he is the origin of everything, of this whole universe. So everything in this Ashwatha Vriksha Rupi Samsara has originated from him and has grown out of him. So that is the meaning of this. So let us see the third Tatparya. Thirdly, he is the destination. He is the way. He is the one who shows the way, and he carries us along the path. Now, those are also his names in the Vishnu Sahasranama. Ramo, Viramo, Virajo. Margo, Neyo, Nayo, Naya. Veera Shaktimatam Sreshto, Dharmo, Dharma Viduttama. He is Marga, he is Neyo, that is, he shows the way. Nayo, Naya, he also carries. So he is Viramo, Virajo. He is also the Vishranti Sthala. So all these 3 things which you have seen, They are the tatparya of this Purusha Sukta. So in Bible also it says, I am the way, I am the truth, I am the life. So this is a unity of thought in all our literatures. We have tried to understand the Shabdartha and try to also read the Tatparya of the Purusha Sukta. Now, the Phalam, learning the Purusha Sukta and reciting it regularly gives us many benefits. I won't go into it. So, many benefits are there. It will also give us an opportunity to contemplate on it. Unless you know a thing, you won't contemplate on it. Understanding and imbibing the Purusha Sukta is like aparoksha anubhuti, as it puts the trinity of the Jiva, Jagat, and Ishwara in the correct perspective. Now, when you see all these things in the correct perspective, then with such an experience, the universe, you are part of the universe, you are the universe itself, the universe is blooming within you. And Sant Jnaneshwar, who had reached this stage, he has expressed this state so beautifully in his Abhanga. Vishwace Artha, Maze Mani Prakashale, Avagech Zale, Deha Brahma, Avadice Valabha, Mazeni Kondatale, Navala Dekile Nabhakara Gemai. So, learning it, understanding it, meditating it, and a stage, how it will come, it may come on its own by Deva Krupa, the Anubhuti will come, and then if you have got sufficient sanchaya of punya, you may reach this stage. So let us listen to this clip before we
विश्वाचे आर्त माझ्या मनी प्रकाशले विश्वाचे आर्त माझ्या मनी प्रकाशले अवघेची झाले देह ब्रह्म अवघेची झाले देह ब्रह्म विश्वाचे आर्त माझ्या मनी प्रकाशले आवडीचे वालभ माझिनी कोंदाटले आवडीचे वालभ माझिनी कोंदाटले नवल देखिले नभाकार गे माये विश्वाचे आर्त माझ्या मनी प्रकाशले.
Pranam. Thank you.